if you're like me and you watched the Stranger Things feature film length finale episode last night, you might also be left with a lot more questions than answers. If you haven't seen seasons 1 through 5, you might want to bow out of this video now. You might actually want to just like leave the internet completely for the next few weeks if you don't want spoilers, because I am positive that there's already like hundreds of videos on YouTube just like this out there already. I am not going to waste your time by making a several hours long video to milk those sweet mid-roll ads. I'm also not going to explain the entire show to you. If you haven't seen it yet, that's your fault. And we're also not going to argue about Will's coming out scene. I'm queer, if like you couldn't tell by all of this, and this channel is a safe space. And don't even get me started on Holly's age jump from season 4 to season 5. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Here's what really confused me about the series finale of everyone's favorite 80s nostalgia bait show, Stranger Things. Ooh, but first, I have not yet put up my 2026 calendar. Dan and Phil, of course. Now that we're officially in 2026, let's jump back to 1987. Is that when this show is set? It really doesn't matter because there's really not much 80s stuff going on in this season. So at number 5, yes, we are doing a countdown. Dustin's friends are still huge dicks to him. For the entirety of season 5, the Scooby Gang, or whatever you want to call them, are just not listening to Dustin about being bullied for Eddie's death in season 4. And they don't even seem to care when Dustin gets brutally beat to a pulp for going to Eddie's grave to grieve him. Like, sure, Dustin lies about it at first because, again, his friends have been being dicks to him about Eddie's death for this entire season. It doesn't make any sense from what has happened in previous seasons. Mike, Will, and Lucas have always defended Dustin against bullies before, and then when Steve got onto the scene, he did too. I feel like especially Steve was defending Dustin because he's supposed to be like Dustin's best friend, closest friend, whatever. I mean, if I were Dustin, I would have just noped out at the beginning of the season, which might have been a better writing choice. Like, Dustin's not around because he's grieving Eddie, the guys are making fun of him, then he comes in later in the season to kind of bring them all together with his radio telemetry smarts shit, you know? But Steve does finally get it when Dustin tells him why he's so afraid of him dying and blah blah blah, but he only gets it when Dustin makes it about him. Steve even makes a "for Eddie" declaration when they're destroying the exacts of this alien creature in the finale, which we will get to. But he hasn't given a shit about Eddie the entire rest of season 5. And I get it, it's the 80s, bullying was kind of a thing, boys are supposed to be tough, they're not supposed to let their feelings show and all that. And I'm a 90s kid, and we were like a little bit more in touch with our feelings, and we had that whole anti-bullying bullshit that we did.
Being bullied isn't fun. That's why it's important for you, all of us, to become street.
But these guys were Eddie's friend too. So why do they not care that he died? When Will got sucked into the Upside Down and came back all traumatized, they didn't tell him to just get over it. But one of their friends dies and the others are just like, meh, it doesn't make any sense. The only reason this is even a problem is because Dustin gets beat up and then, oh, they're behind on their schedule. They might die or whatever without Dustin. But none of them are like, oh my God, we're so glad you're here. You have saved us. Even if you're late, like, oh my God, we were about to die and you came in and rescued us. They're just like, where the hell have you been? Why is your face all messed up? Like, he got beat up because he was at Eddie's grave. Number 4, nobody cares about Kali. I'm sorry, I said it. She doesn't need to be here. They could have had her teach Elle, like, her powers or whatever in the one other episode that she was in, and she could have died in Doc K's lab or something when Hopper and Elle go in there to figure out who is in this room. They think it's going to be Henry, but it's actually Kali. Like, she could have just, she could have died when they tried to free her. Like, they unplugged her from these machines or whatever, and she died. Or, like, Doc K and the military dudes come in, and they're shooting, and then they accidentally shoot Kali. Like, it really would not have been a big deal for her just not to be here at all. They try to, like, shoehorn in Kali's usefulness with her powers in the last little bit of the finale by being like, oh, maybe she used her powers to rescue Elle, but it just kind of falls flat. And don't get me wrong, her actress, Linnea Berthelsen, who I hope I'm saying her name right, plays the part really well. Like, she's a good actress. It's not her fault that this character is written really poorly. I thought, honestly, that Kali was going to betray Elle in the end or something. And they got so close. Like, that would have been so cool if Kali was there and she's like, oh yeah, I'm going to help you out. And then she, like, tries to kill Elle or something else. They have this, like, little cop-out scene where she's about to shoot Hopper and, like, oh, he's just bringing us down and we need to do this and he's going to try to stop us. But then she just doesn't. Like, Elle barely says 2 sentences and then she's like, oh, okay, I guess I'm not going to shoot Hopper then. Like, what if Kali, like, did betray Elle in the end? Like, she was working with Dr. K this whole time, but then at the last second, Kali changes her mind and decides to save Elle instead, and then, like, gives her life up for her and then dies that way. Like, that would have made me care about her character so much more. But no, they just kind of wasted her, in my opinion. Like, they gave her all these scenes in season 5 and in the finale, and she dies, and it just feels like, okay, so she's dead. Like, we didn't really get a chance to care about her, or, like, we didn't even get really this chance to be like, ooh, she's gonna be evil. Like, oh my God, she's doing all these things behind Elle's back. Like, that would have been cool. Made us care about her death more. But in the end, it's just kind of like, okay, bye. Also, Hopper does not need to be here. He could have died at, I think it was the end of season 3 when they were like, when he got caught in the portal thingy and we thought he was dead, but he wasn't. He gives this whole speech about Elle, like, oh, don't you want to grow up? Don't you want to have kids? Don't you want to, like, have a normal life? But, like, what does he expect that 11, a secret military project, is going to do with her life? Like, she's just going to become a secretary, get married, move to the suburbs, and have kids? Like, get real. Hopper dying earlier in the series would have given Elle even more motivation to kill Henry and to destroy the Upside Down. Because as it stands, it's like, oh, we gotta go save Mike's little sister who we never really got to know, and all these other kids from the town that we don't really care about. Like, it would have given her motivation to be like, this dude killed my dad, this person that was, like, actually trying to be my father to me. But instead it's just like, nah, like, okay, like, yeah, he's kind of, like, destroying the world or whatever, but like, it doesn't give it enough weight behind her choices in this season. And we could have even had, like, Nancy train Elle in combination with Murray, which would have given both of them a whole hell of a lot more to do than just being, will she or won't she with Jonathan? He's smuggling shit into the quarantine zone. Like, it would have given their characters just so much more depth this season. We also get plenty of enough parental angst from Joyce, and the series just ultimately suffers from not being able to kill off any of their main characters that we actually care about. Also, okay, point number 2, Henry being afraid of this cave makes no sense. Except maybe as, like, a Chekhov's gun, Deus Ex Machina type thing. We learn in the final season that Henry's origin is in this cave / mine area beyond the cave. He's afraid of going in this cave, but the actual event that scares him happened in this mine that is, you have to go through the cave to get there. But, like, he could have just gone over the cave? He's a powerful, apparently interdimensional being. He didn't have to go through this cave to do anything. So this cave kind of serves as an escape for Max and the kids that are stuck in Henry's mind. And Henry is afraid of going in there because when he was a kid, he, like, was trying to help this guy that was kind of dying in the cave, and then he gets shot, and then he kills the guy, and then he steals this thingy that's in his briefcase, and it gives him powers somehow, which just, huh? It's like they're just trying to cram in all of these plot points. It's too convoluted. I didn't like it. It just made it way too easy for everyone to escape Vecna in his mind or whatever. And it gives this like bullshit reason for like how Vecna got his superpowers. Speaking of which, point number 1, alien meteor. In the earlier episodes, it is set up that Elle and the other number siblings, whatever you want to call them, were part of like a project that's kind of like MK Ultra. So where the fuck do aliens come into this? Sure, the Demogorgons are kind of alien-like, and I think Dustin in season 1, like when he finds the little baby Demogorgon, is like, ooh, it's an alien. But other than that, like we get zero mention of aliens throughout the whole entire show. And I don't think that I'm alone in thinking that like these Demogorgons were just something that Henry, Vecna, whatever you want to call him, like made while he was in the Upside Down, like with his powers. Like maybe he, the people that he lured to the Upside Down that eventually died, got, he used their dead bodies to make the Demogorgons or something. Like, I wasn't thinking too hard of it until I started writing the script, but it's kind of like, yeah, Henry made Vecna, he made the Demogorgons. Like, that was all we needed to know. They just seem to make it much more complicated by adding in aliens. In the last episode, in the finale, like, I did get kind of bored during this huge alien fight scene that was supposed to be like epic and really important, because to me Henry was the big bad of the show, not this alien thing that he's like somehow attached to. The focus of the finale episode should have been on defeating Vecna, but all we get is this kind of like sidetrack storyline of like, oh, he found this alien meteor thing in this dude's briefcase and that's what gave him his powers. And this alien just took over Vecna, and he's not evil. He's just a vessel, like Will and Holly and all the little kids. Like, it's not his fault. Like, no, what? Like, come on. I think we were all expecting this huge fight scene between the gang and Vecna, and we just get this. I just kind of feel like they stuffed aliens in there at the last minute and tried to make it like an 80s reference. And while we were low on those 80s references this season, except for Robin's pop culture references, one of which was from the 70s, it just doesn't make any sense to like explain all of this show with aliens. To me, it just didn't make any sense to explain this entire show away with aliens at the last second. Like, it would have made much more sense if, if this government experiment with Henry, 1 through 11 or whatever the fuck, however many kids there were, was like done by the government to defeat the commies. And then it went wrong somehow. Like, that was a much bigger thing in the 80s than aliens were, I feel like. And that's kind of what they had been hinting at for the entire show up until now. Like, the whole wormhole thing was cool. Like, they still could have used that, but like, it didn't need to lead to outer space or to aliens at all. I feel like Henry could have like, oh, he went to the hospital after he got his hand shot by the dude in the cave, and he had like this briefcase on him that had the secret government experiment vials in it or whatever. And because he saw that, then they had to use him for the experiment. And like, that's why he's pissed at the military, is because they were the ones who did this to him. Like, that just would have made so much more sense to me. Like, and it was fine and all for this kind of like wormhole, upside down otherworld thing to be something that Henry and Elle had unexpectedly created because of their powers. But again, we didn't need to involve aliens in this. So yeah, while this is a critical video, because this is YouTube, this is what we do here, there were parts of season 5 and of the finale of Stranger Things that I actually did really like. I love that Joyce gets to hack a Vecna in the finale. There is nothing stronger than a mother's wrath, and I just feel like that really gave her character closure for, getting revenge for what Vecna did to Will. The soundtrack, while it was not as powerful as Metallica, Prince, Stevie Nicks, the Pixies, David Bowie, they were all great choices. I also love that we get like a little snippet of Robin and Steve. While they're partners at the Squawk, we didn't get a whole lot of their banter this season because Steve was like, oh, is he going to try to get back with Nancy? And then Robin had her whole thing where she was kind of more focused on helping Will. But the little teeny bit of them that we get in the finale episode is awesome. I also really love Dustin's valedictorian speech. Hell yeah, screw the man. And, you know, what a way to remember Eddie in the end by carrying on his torch. But overall, I do think the show took way too long to get to the ending. But once we got there, it was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. It did kind of feel like a cancellation ending, though. Like they tried to just squeeze way too much into one episode when they had 5 entire seasons to do this. Like, did they not know how they were going to end the show? Because there was just so much going on in this final episode, and not in a good way. I also really wish that they had definitively killed Elle off and not left it so vague and hopeful. Like, is she still alive in Ireland or wherever the fuck Mike was envisioning her to be in the last D&D game? The world may never know. Like, it would have just given so much more closure to the show and the characters if it had been a definitive death. But again, this show is scared of killing off its main characters because they don't want people going online and getting all pissy about it. Newsflash, people are going to go online and get pissy about things anyways. That's why we're here. And, you know, videos like this, they're meant to just be a little bit of fun. I know all of the cast, the crew, the writers, and the creatives on this show worked really hard, and most of the issues can probably be chalked up to executive decisions that were made. And there's probably like so much more that could be said about Stranger Things and the entire universe of it, from behind the scenes shit, other lore from the play that they had, books, whatever other stuff is out there or will be in the future. Like they're supposed to be making an animated series and like a spin-off series. But again, they could have fit everything into 5 seasons. They had plenty of enough time to do that. I just think they did not know where they were going with this show in general. Most people that are going to watch this show on Netflix just try to understand the show from the 5 seasons that they're given in the main show. This video is mostly just my initial thoughts after watching the whole show and the finale. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and if you like this kind of video, feel free to stick around. I'm Melody. I used to react to K-pop. I don't do that anymore. Now I do more media review type commentary videos. So that sounds like your kind of thing. Go ahead and subscribe. I'd love to have you here. But after criticizing Stranger Things for how long is this video now? I've been recording for 23 minutes. I only have one last thing to say. #Justice for Barb.